Welcome back to Caffeine Confessionals. That has not been said in a long time. We signed off after Ryder Dies. Excited for the Challenge All-Star Season 4. We thought it was coming right around the corner. It's like 7, 8 months later. We've had multiple challenge seasons since, but none that we really had the time to podcast about. But the MTV show is back, Season 39, Battle for a New Champion, Caffeine Confessionals podcast. My name is Allan Aguirre. I'm joined by my lovely co-host, the Southern Luke Muncie.
What's up, guys? Long time no see.
We are not joined by our co-host Zoe Trimboli, but she will be joining us throughout the season. She is lovely. But we have a cast to break down. We have a season to break down. The name of the season is Battle for a New Champion, which I have to be upfront in saying, all-time bad name.
Horrible. It's definitely a play off of Invasion of the Champions, but not original at all. Give me something crazy, not so self-explanatory.
And the funniest thing is that Invasion of the Champions, that season's name leaked like 6 months before the season, and everyone called it just Invasion. So people don't even know that the full name is Invasion of the Champions. People just call it Invasion. They took inspiration from the long bad name for this new name, and I just don't think it makes sense. Maybe Search for a New Champion would have been better. Literally, it's just a bad name. It's going to confuse a lot of people. And what's going to confuse a lot of people and upset them is that for this new season, we have 24 players who have never won a challenge championship before, most of which have never seen a final, and people are not happy.
I understand that if there's to be any longevity on MTV with the challenge, we've got to start pushing some new faces. CT, Johnny, Don't Jump Me, Cara, Laurel, all these people who are so great and we love, they can't be on it forever. I mean, they probably do have 10 more years in them if they so wanted to, but life happens, age happens. We've got to start getting some more faces, and actually maybe no faces, just like prominent characters who can be interchanged. I think part of the downfall of this show a little bit is that we have so many faces that if they're not on the season, part of the fan base backs completely out.
I completely agree. We need new blood. We need new faces. Invasion is one of the most important seasons in challenge history because it invigorated it. It gave it new life blood. It led into Dirty 30, Vendettas, built up the Final Reckoning, and then we saw players bleed into, War of the Worlds, War of the Worlds 2. It saved the show in a lot of ways because it was really going downhill after Bloodlines and Rivals 3. The problem is Invasion did have those big name champions where if you're just a bunch of scrubs beating other scrubs, challenge fans don't really take you seriously. Like, they need to see you compete alongside bigger names just so that they, get the approval.
Yeah, and one of the biggest complaints about Invasions was that they didn't go against each other in elimination, but it guaranteed that 4 faces that had never won were going to be on the entire season for people to consume, start to love, and possibly beat the champ at the end, which is how we got our wonderful, lovely God-sent Ashley, who's on a hiatus. But yeah, this season's kind of setting itself up to not work so well.
And we do have to acknowledge there are going to be mercenaries on this season, which when they announced the cast for this season, the first post for the cast was the mercenaries. They had Cara, they had Laurel, they had CT plastered on there, they had people really excited. And what I say is, I think you have to promote them to get people excited. But making them the first post of the cast, that was just all-time clickbait content.
Correct. Because if you were to click on the article, you find out they just come in for elimination. And if you look at the disparity between the numbers, between the regular challengers posts and the legends, the interview said, they're not going to be mercenaries this year. We're rebranding into legends. Quit rebranding. They're mercenaries. But it's an 80,000 difference because people care that much about their OG vets.
Ooh, all right. So we're gonna get into this cast. What we're gonna do actually is we're gonna run through the names for some of you. Some of you just want to know the names on the cast, so we're just gonna list them all out first at the beginning, and then we're gonna go through them one by one individually. On the female side of this cast, we have Sofia Juji Jimenez from the Challenge Argentina, Jessica Brody from Challenge Australia, Colleen Schneider from Ryder Dies, Raven Rochelle from Ryder Dies, Big T from multiple seasons of the challenge, Melissa Reeves, last seen on Total Madness. We have Michelle Fitzgerald, who is on every single challenge show imaginable these days.
Mhm.
Mariah Jadia from Ride or Dies. Zara Zoffany from the Challenge UK and World Championships. Nerys Mateo from Challenge Ride or Dies. Berna Kembeldek, who we last saw on Double Agents. And Olivia Kaiser, who we last saw getting her face smashed by a golf ball on Ride or Dies.
And Berta was on Spies, Laws, and Allies, just for clarification, if you want to
Spies
go
Lies.
watch your season.
Yes. Messed that up already. Amazing. All right, now we have on the male side, we have Horacio Gutierrez, also from Ride or Dies. Kylan Young from Challenge USA Season 1. Ed Eason from Spies, Lies, and Allies. Emmanuel Niagu, also from Spies, Lies, and Allies. Jay Starrett, who just did Ride or Dies and has done 2 previous seasons as well. Kieran Scott from the Challenge Australia. Corey Lay from Spies, Lies, and Allies. Callum Izzard from the Challenge UK. Asif Goren from Total Madness. Chauncey Palmer from Ride or Dies. James Locke from the Challenge UK. And Huey Mahan from Spies, Lies, and Allies. That's our cast for this season.
Superstars, woo!
I actually really do like this cast a lot. If the mercenaries or legends were on the season as well, I think this would be like a fantastic cast.
Can I say, I get hate for this when I tweet this thought all the time. It does not come from a bad place at all. The challenge is not going to thrive internationally. It's just not. Look at how the international seasons did. There are people from American reality TV, and I know there are no rookies on the season. Like, in case you didn't grab that, there are no rookies. There are still people from the US version of the challenge or the Challenge USA, which people can consume easily, that did not make a final, that were one and done, two and done, would have been great television and likely would have said yes. I'll talk about them when we get to them. There are so many non-factors on this cast. Luckily, there are some good factors, but there are so many non-factors that could have been swapped out with someone else, and this cast could have been elevated where you might not even need the mercenaries. But I don't think it's the worst. People are going to complain, but that's just because it's lacking who they're used to.
I fully agree. I think MTV as a whole, the last few years, has done a pretty good job with the female cast, especially with rookies. The male cast, it's dud after dud.
Yeah, we'll just get into the names because I have so many thoughts.
All right, female cast. Let's jump right into it. Let's kick off with Nerys Mateo. Nerys was a massive surprise to me on Ride or Dies because Nerys was waiting 5 years. Like, literally, her Are You the One season was 2017. She was tweeting about wanting to be on the challenge. She was posting photos of her in Nelson's challenge jersey. She was like a diehard super fan. I thought she was going to come on this show and completely flop. Nope.
She did well. I liked Nerys on Are You the One because she was crazy. Not that I thought her character was just super outstanding. I don't think she's bad either. She provided on X on the Beach. You know, people made a joke of her, but she was still good television. And I thought that she held her ground fairly well. And you're right. On Ride or Dies, she should thank Amanda for saying no to being on with Nelson. She should thank others for saying no. But honestly, I was happy she made it on. This is a girl who knows how to provide good TV. And to me, feel free to disagree, but to me, it doesn't feel inauthentic. She just brings something to the table that a lot of people don't.
She's also passionate about this show. Like, she actually was a student of the game, whereas like Nelson lost like a bazillion daily challenges in a row for years. He won those daily challenges because Nerys walked in with a strategy. She walked in memorizing puzzles coming into the game. She did a lot of cardio. She was prepared for a final. Like, Nerys was a good competitor, and I was like stunned. And 2 showmances, 1 season.
Incredible. Uh, she just knows how to work it. She is a child of MTV, and we are lacking so many of those. She knows what to bring to the table. And a lot of people like to clown her because she begged, she lobbied. And yeah, in a sense, it's weird. It's weird if you don't get on. She got on. So she got what she wanted. I'm happy for her.
Yeah, there are so many people who are lobbying and try to do it, and then they come on the show and they don't do anything. Nerys took the opportunity and she sprinted with it. And going into this season, like she's a student of the game. She's going to come in with a pregame alliance. She's going to come in, try and get into a showmance. I mean, actually, let's just talk about it right now. She's currently in a relationship with Horacio, which means that most women in this world probably hate her because she's living their dream. She locked up one of the strongest competitors, which for her game means the world.
She had the challenge post them, which they're running low on content these days, despite having a season in the works, a season in the vault, and a season airing. But they posted them. Nerys is definitely, I don't think she's a fan favorite. People like to hate her on Twitter. MTV is going to eat her up from here on out. I can't see them not.
I'm excited for Nerys, and I did not expect that a year ago. It's been really cool to see her growth, and I really think she's going to do well. I think this is a great casting. Let's talk about someone who's coming back after, technically they've only done one MTV season off. Let's talk about Big T. It's really weird because Big T was on 4 straight seasons of the show. She's technically like the most veteran female on this cast, and yet she feels so disconnected from everyone here at the same time.
And I think it's because we as viewers, collectively, maybe not us, but we as viewers and the people on the show have a way of infantilizing her, making her like little baby Big T. And she's not, but she does play into it. It might be good strategy, but I think that's why she seems so off. She has friends on this cast. She has people that she's done seasons with. She does seem out of place. And I don't think it's because she's done so many seasons. I don't know. I like Big T. No hate to Big T. I'm a little on the fence about her, like this season.
I agree. And, I tweeted something about this about a different cast member on Challenge USA recently. Some people on this show are part of the plot and some people aren't. Big T is never part of the plot. She's never in any of the major alliances. She never has a showmance that people care about. She's never actively targeted as a threat in the game. She gets put into elimination because people view her as a layup. Now, we love Big T. She's a great character, good confessionals. Like, she's just very likable, quirky. Like, she doesn't need to have a storyline like that to get camera time, but she's never part of the plot.
And the only time I can think of off the top of my head was because she was partners with CT. And if she hadn't been, probably wouldn't have gotten so much camera time. But you're right. That's good perspective for me. She is just a fun character to watch. I don't have to worry about her athleticism, how far she's going to go. I know that when she's on, I'm going to have a laugh. So maybe that's worth more than a random that we're going to talk about later. And you said one season off. I'm like, oh, she took 3 years off. So maybe she's missed a little bit. I don't know.
I do appreciate that every time Big T comes back, she's shown improvement as a competitor physically. She's a good swimmer. She's decent when it comes to climbing stuff. She has some skills and strengths. Like Big T, like I know Big T can actually win certain things. There's a lot of stuff she can't win in, but I know she can win certain things, which I don't know about certain other players. For example, next up we got Colleen. She was on Ride or Dies. She had a showmance with Fessy. She went into an elimination against Tommy Bracco. They won, but it was because Tommy was abysmal. And then they had an elimination against Laurel and Jack, where they had to communicate and weren't allowed to speak in their native German tongue. So we never really got a fair shake to see how good of a competitor she is.
I saw all I needed to see. She's got so many. She has so many fans on Twitter. I'm like, ugh. She seems like such a sweet girl, and I think she was a standout in Germany on the shows that she was on. I think for her to get this chance to come back, and obviously Fessy's not there, she doesn't have someone like Kim, who she was with last season, there with her. She's just a weird person placed with the girls that were on last season as well. She does not do much for me. Jump me, please don't. I think this is one of the worst casting decisions for this season. You might disagree. It doesn't make sense to me.
I don't disagree. I don't dislike the Colleen casting. I don't love it. I really have nothing to say because it's just we need to see what she can do. and it might not be much. There might be potential there. She seems very fitness focused on Instagram. She was like very smart on the Mole, her original show apparently. I just don't really know what's there, and we're gonna find out. She could be out in 2 episodes, and she's a waste of a casting spot, but I don't know.
You have a way of reframing this for me. I don't dislike the casting. I just need to see more of her. There we go. So positive, Alan.
How do you feel about Mariah on this show?
Well, okay. I actually do think she makes sense, and that might not make sense for what I just said. No, she's not from a previous reality show, but she was so connected with Bananas, who love it or hate it, is the one of the face of the show. She had that showman's whatever that was. She's a brute. She had a few fun moments. Now, does a few fun moments justify getting another call? Not sure. And it's not because I think she's a boring human. I'm sure she has fun at home. I think she gets nervous on camera, which is falls back on her not being on reality TV before. And I think she's just nice. Reality TV is not really the place for nice people, but maybe without Johnny kind of coaching her through this season, we might see a different side to her. So I don't hate it. I'm apprehensive to jump all in, but I don't hate it.
I make fun of Mariah on Twitter like a decent amount. It's just like a throwaway joke. And then she likes every tweet about my personal life where things are going good in my life. She really is just such a good person, and it makes me feel bad for every time, I make a joke about like, oh, we forgot her name on this show, because she's just such a wallpaper character. But I can't lie about what's being put in front of me because I saw Mariah's like Instagram post and I was like, this girl's fit. She's gonna be the next Jenny West. She's gonna become a champion. She's gonna kill everything. And then she just doesn't really bring much to the show. I want to see good stuff because she is a good person, but I don't know if she's a reality TV character.
The only thing that I think might help her is that she is with a lot of girls from her previous season, which will either push her into this dominant alliance, let's be real, or those girls are going to fight, hey, I want to be the main girl, and it's going to cause some tension because we've not said her name yet. I'm going to just say it. I can't imagine Nerese, Olivia, and Mariah aren't feeling like, hey, I need to be the main girl from Ride or Dies that shows up this season. But we'll see.
That's interesting because I think Mariah has a very clear path to the final because she's really nice. Like she's not going to offend anyone. Nobody wants to face her in anything physical. And I think she is kind of cool just being around. But Nerese, Olivia, that's definitely going to be two big personalities. And also, I think there's also going to be Michelle, who is not quite on their level as a physical competitor, but socially is going to be trying to make some moves because nobody on this cast is more connected than Michelle.
Yeah. I'm going to hold off until we get to her, unless she is next.
No, let's jump right into Michelle right now because Olivia's going to get a big portion later. Let's talk about Michelle right here, right now.
Okay. Tides turn on Michelle all the time, which is fun. I think that's what makes her a great reality TV personality. She is. Love her or hate her. A little strange that she is on USA 2 and no one else from that season is on this season, but I think it just speaks volumes to what they see in her as a character. Like Alan said, strategic as all get out. She is a smart girl, and here's what I like about her. She won Survivor. She went to Final 3 on her next season, which you get quite a bit of money for doing that too. I don't think she's blown her money, and she still seems to be working. It's not like she comes on the show and this would be life-changing money. She doesn't have to really just like watch what she says and watch how she speaks to people. She has her moments where she acts like a complete, I don't want to say psycho, but imagine that I found a different word than that. And it's just good TV. She gets paranoid. She's not the strongest girl, but she's got good cardio. She's really good at like the strangest things. And she's clearly liked by production, which that alone gets somebody screen time.
Fully agree. There is something about Michelle where she's like a very beatable challenger. Like you could throw her into any elimination and probably beat her. At the same time, she has some puzzle skills, some swimming ability. There is a path where if she plays the right political game, she could get out challenge championship. She is I mean, she's the player from Invasion that I love, like the Amanda, the Ashley. Not anywhere as chaotic, much more on like a chaotic good side of people
Yes.
type
Yeah.
stuff, like an emotional player. But it's like that type of archetype of player in terms of skill set can find a way to win, and I always find that very interesting because you kind of want to see the more, I'm not gonna say she's not athletic, but the more brainy type players figure out a way to win on the challenge.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more. I, as long as this show continues, I think Michelle has a call. Not only is she smart in all these things, she has beef with people. Like, you know, Laurel does not like her. Laurel's a champ. Laurel's a big deal. On USA, Amanda, one of the people that MTV chose to represent them on this new network, hates her. She's been with Fessy. She's got other hookups. Like, she is exactly, she's not what the challenge needed 10 years ago, but the challenge being a little bit more watered down now. Michelle checks off every single box without being boring. And for that, cast 12 of her.
I fully agree. Although I will say, she really has not been on USA since Amanda left. She really has been in the background.
Well, even last week, she couldn't jump. But, anyways, love her.
I do too. I agree. She's exactly what the challenge needs at this point in time. Let's move into someone else. Let's move into someone a little bit more off the beaten path. Let's talk about Zara, who, of anyone on this cast, was the closest to winning a challenge championship. She lost a challenge UK final by 1 minute to Kaz. She is a big time runner, big time fitness person, and very rich, which I find the most fascinating part about her because if you look at her Instagram and her lifestyle and the show she came from, like millions and millions of dollars in her family's bank account. MTV rookie casting is like peanuts. So to do this show when you're coming from that type of lifestyle, you have to be a certain type of unhinged.
She just likes chaos. And I love that. Now, if I'm being completely honest, she didn't show me much on her original season, the UK. And on World Championship, she had one instance where she bucked up to Tori just a little bit. And I saw a little glimmer of hope, but we didn't quite get it. Who is her partner on World Championship?
Wes.
Okay, gotcha. Well, that's easy to be overshadowed then if Wes is your partner, maybe.
And that season just sucked. I'll be honest, both those seasons sucked because Challenge UK was 5 episodes and a breeze, and then World Championships was just a snooze fest for the most part.
Apparently, her original show, she was chaotic, a bully, and not that I advocate for bullying. That is bad. But it's sometimes entertaining to see a mean girl on reality television. You know, it makes sense in that realm. So maybe we'll get a little bit of that. I think there are some other girls there that have the potential to be a mean girl as well, and she might either fit in with them or clash with them. So I'm gonna give her some room to breathe, just like Mariah and Colleen.
She does come in as an outsider too, which I think gives her an edge. Where I was going to mention this with Mariah earlier, I would almost kind of wish Mariah was like the one rookie on this cast, and people were trying to throw her in because they see her as super athletic. I feel like Zara's going to be in that role, and I think it's just going to be good for her reality TV character because she's going to scrap and she's going to fight, and either she's going to succeed or fail. But people are going to like her because she's going to fight.
Yeah.
We also have another physical beast on this season. Well, I think they're a physical beast. Berna. And if you
Yeah.
don't know Berna's background, like you guys, like people don't remember, she is a she's like a legitimately trained gymnast, trained in dance. She did not take math in school. She took circus. Uh, During a challenge on Spies, Lies, and Allies, they had to go through like an obstacle course. Bruno was so far ahead of everyone else. I could not believe it. It was one of the most like impressive physical feats I've ever seen on this show. It was like she was just dusting Casey and Tori. Like they weren't even close to her. Like Berna is a freak athlete. She's super fit. She's tall. She's athletic, and I think she's going to be a really good competitor.
I wasn't sold on her first season. Okay. Also, big Ashley fan, things went into that. She's unhinged, which is a great thing. We need that. I think a lot of her luster was lost for me because she beefed with Ashley Amanda, but also she had beef with Emmy towards the end, and I did not care at all for Emmy. I'm excited to see her with other girls that I actually care about and to see if she works with them, against them. And we might get to this later. I don't know if you'd planned this, so sorry if I'm like doing this early. No, I'm not even joking. When I saw this cast or heard this cast announced for the first time, Berna was my winner pick. And not that she's my number one girl that I like on the cast. That's not the case. I do like her. But I thought she has what it takes. And as a slight outsider who's played the game and has grit, she could, if she made it to the final, I could see her winning the entire thing. So I'll give her props for that. Let's see how she does.
Someone asked me like why I was so high on Verna, and I was like I didn't actually like write this, but I genuinely think she's like a top 5 athlete this show has ever casted. Like I've watched like clips of her just working out and stuff like that, and she's like unbelievable because I mean we've had like fit challengers like Mariah and stuff like that, like Emily Scrum, but they weren't like athletes. They were just very fit people. Berna has like that fitness, but she also has like the Evelyn Laurel to her where she can just climb and just move and just sprint at at a speed that athletes truly move at. I only wonder my only like skepticism about her is I don't think she can do puzzles at all.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing keeping her from winning, but I think she could win a bunch of eliminations and yeah, I think she's a big threat.
Yeah.
Next up, let's talk about someone who might not be a big threat. Apologies, this person. Jessica Brody from the Challenge Australia.
God. Okay. On the Challenge Australia, I loved her so much. Like, just something about her was, I don't even want to say unhinged because I don't think unhinged is the word. She wasn't unhinged. She was just having fun. And I like that. She was getting involved in drama. She talked about, just briefly, backstory with Kiki and Kieran, who we'll talk about later, which if you've not looked into YouTube, Kiki, Kieran, Jessica, Australian, Bachelor, whatever, really riveting television. I love her. I love her. She didn't have a great showing on Australia, though. And this has nothing to do with the show. Well, it does, so I'm not going to say it. I love her.
Luke, I watched the first 5 minutes of Challenge Australia. I tweeted, I love this girl. I have no doubt she's going to be gone in a couple episodes. And that's exactly what happened. Like I agree with you. There's something about her where she is a good reality TV character. I mean, she's otherworldly gorgeous. She's made for like living in a challenge house, but I don't know if she's made for competing. And you add in the fact that she's the only like female Australian on this cast. She's gonna be an outsider. She's only 5'1", so it's really easy to target her for eliminations. I want her to go far, but it's gonna be tough. Like unless she gets into like a power showmance, I don't really see like a good path for her.
Yeah, and can I say, she said recently that she was contacted to do World Championship, and they instead went with Emily. That's her name, correct? Really tall, fit swimmer.
Yeah.
Okay. As much as I like, Emily's not my favorite. One of the high points of that season was Emily and Kiki and their beef. So like, as much as I love Jessica, I can see areas where she's not so needed, and I hate to say that because I really do like her. So I hope that she absolutely blows it out of the water on this season. But she really, really is going to have to work because she does not have any prior connections. Like at least Joy, or I don't know how to pronounce her name. What's her name? Sophia.
Hui.
Oh, that one. She and Zara did World Championship together. So like there's a tie in there. Jessica's got a tough road ahead of her.
She does, and let's just talk about Hui right now. Seems like an all-time good hang. Just great vibes, immaculate, just like someone you want to go to brunch with. Like
for sure. We'll stay out with you for 12 hours and not say a word about it, and then get home and say, let's make pizza rolls and listen to just random obscure music. And it's like, cool, you're that girl. Now, Allan, would you trust her to be your partner on a season?
No
Okay.
way. And not only that, I did like deeper research into all her past shows, like in Argentina as well, like not just the Challenge Argentina, but like she gets eliminated very early on every show she's been on. She's gorgeous, she's nice, She's just not good at stuff, which is okay because she's gorgeous, nice, and successful. Like, who cares?
And here's what I'll say about her, and backtracking a bit to Colleen. The name of the game is you're on this American TV show. You have to speak English. I get it. I'm not saying we have to make special accommodations because it's an American show. But if someone's first language is not English and they struggle to speak within their second or third language as English, they themselves are at such a disadvantage. Probably more so than Jessica because she speaks fluent English. Juju, I'm going to call her because that's what they called her on World Championship. That's why I said Joy. She could hardly communicate then either. I don't know. This just seems like a throwaway casting just in case we're going to keep the challenge Argentina going later on in life because it was somewhat successful. But people from Argentina aren't going to tune into this. They're probably not going to have a way to tune into this just for one person.
Yeah, and I will say the ratings on Challenge Argentina weren't bad within their own country, but I don't see them coming for Hui, especially with how hard it is just to watch MTV if you're in America.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh. Let's talk about another person who is, you know what? Let's move on to Raven. Let's talk about Raven here because I didn't really know where to put Raven in this conversation.
I am not a big fan of Raven. She is unhinged. I will say without a doubt, the girl is unhinged. I don't follow her on Twitter because I don't follow people I don't like, but I see her stuff retweeted and quoted. She tweets the most off-the-wall stuff, which sometimes is concerning, but she doesn't care, and I kind of love that. She's going to say what she's going to say. Her saying that she was fine being second rate to Nerys last season, strange. Some of her personal decisions, strange. I think she's a good competitor. If she could just learn to tie her shoes, I really do think she can make it deep. I wish her and Nerys still had beef going into this season. We know they don't. They made up all that stuff. I see her being just a number for ride or die girls because, hey, we all did the same season together when really they don't like her. But with far less or no big personalities like old challenge vets on the season, she could rise up in the ranks. I don't know. Verdict is out on her.
I'll say that the Nerys beef does still matter in the long term of the game of once those numbers do dwindle and they have to cannibalize each other, having an argument like, oh, hey, I hated you last season is now my reason for throwing you into elimination here now that we're all just aligned here. So yeah. I'm excited for that to get reheated up. Again, yeah, she only lasted 3-4 episodes last season. So we saw potential there physically, but it was only 3-4 episodes.
And I'm going to jump in and say something that, whatever, it's not on the final cast. Allegedly, Johnny, not Bananas, but from Love Island, was supposed to be on this season. He got dropped. He even tweeted about it, so go find that. Him not being there does not allow for the Nerys and Raven thing to truly fester as much as it needed to. I'm sure that it will, like you said, and smart. Get further down the game. Yeah, I don't like you. You're going in. But had he been there, he could have been the catalyst for a lot of other things, and it just doesn't make sense. But sorry, not to jump out of something random.
I completely agree. I don't know how Johnny isn't on this cast, especially as a guy who was trying to shake up the game, who is a strong physical competitor. You look at this cast, the fact he's not on there is ridiculous on so many levels.
Yep.
It's frustrating. Someone I'm excited to see though, someone that doesn't frustrate me, is that we're getting Melissa Reeves back on the show. For the first time since Total Madness. She made the final while 4 to 5 months pregnant the last time we saw her. Hopefully she's not pregnant again this season. I think Melissa, even when she's at her most boring, which was Total Madness, she's still a great reality TV cast member.
I will. Okay, yes. If they show all of her greatness, okay? Allegedly, she was having hookups with Kyle throughout this season and would make sense. She was protecting him, whatever. She was loyal, maybe to a fault, not to a fault. She made the final, but she was really loyal to D, and we saw that play out. She is a good character. I need her to lean more into her vendettas final reckoning. Will she as a mother? I'm not sure. Will she in the age of everything is critiqued online to the point that you're just the world's biggest bully? I don't know. I hope so. And I do know we talked about earlier Big T. Her and Big T are great friends outside of the house. I don't think we've ever seen Melissa come in with a bestie. Like her and Kaylee were frenemies. She really loves Big T. So this could be fun to watch play out, just like them against others, because they're not going to turn on one another. They still hang out to this day. So obviously, if anything happened during the season, it was nothing too crucial. I don't know. Fingers crossed.
I love Big T, love Melissa. I don't know if I like that duo, honestly, though, just because I think being a duo is like one of the worst things you could do going into a challenge house sometimes because like we saw with Kellyanne and Kendall on Challenge All Stars 3 where immediately throw them in against each other, throw one of them into elimination immediately. Jenna and Kayla back in the day too, like unless you can partner up with another alliance like you to create like a 4 or 5 person alliance, it's tough being a duo on the show.
Yeah, and not that these, what I'm about to say, are duos, but close enough. I always think of Final Reckoning. You had the Young Bucks and you had the Lavender Ladies. People did not like them, like still don't, but they liked one another and had past history with one another and maybe slightly hated each other too. But it worked because they had a huge conglomerate that could just dominate votes. So I'm with you there.
And the conglomerate on this season is going to look like the Ride or Die Ladies, which will be obviously the figurehead. It's going to be Olivia.
I have so many thoughts, and I've gone back and forth in this off season. I liked Olivia on the show. I thought this summer, just kind of thinking about stuff playing out and just thinking of the show as I'm running, things like that. Maybe I don't like Olivia. No, I like Olivia. Why am I fighting this? This girl won Love Island. She didn't stand a chance to win this past season, let's be real. The casuals loved her, but not only that, people on Twitter really embraced her, which I think is rare. It's either one or the other. She had a good showing, won so many eliminations. Her and Horacio are like the people's rookies. She is coming into this show. We saw the poster as probably the face of the season. Not that we really have those anymore, but, or maybe we do. I don't know. Stay tuned. I'm so excited for her. She has such potential to flop, though. And it's not because she's not strong, but it's because people are going to know that and maybe possibly target her. Or they're going to know that she was a fan favorite and want to work with her, which is likely what's going to happen. But I like her. She is, like you just said, backed by numbers on the women's side. And then whoever Horacio chooses to align with is going to back her up too. Horacio is loyal as anything. She's in a great spot. I think I talked about Berna earlier. Olivia is definitely the second for me. She has the chance to, you know, maybe she's not the strongest, maybe she's not the fittest. She has so many connections. Her and Michelle, maybe. I don't know.
The thing about Olivia is that she has, like, talent-wise, she might be on the same level as Mariah and Nerys and stuff like that, but she has much less weaknesses, where nobody wants to face her in elimination because she's one of the most experienced players. She has the social connections. She, in many ways, is the most experienced player because she went through all of Ride or Dies, saw so many eliminations. Like, Olivia has seen this entire game, and I really do think she has the production on her side. Like, it's not a bad thing. Like, congratulations, you got that bump. Like, the second that golf ball shattered her face, it was like the Tori Deal Cara Maria speed run all together, where she's like the Tori character who they could just put in confessionals, and then Cara breaking her arm, like hand, all together in one moment.
And not only that, I'm sure production feels so guilty for not giving her goggles or anything to cover her face because that could have been catastrophic. Could have been fatal, let's be realistic. So I could see them being like, hey, we're going to give you a little bit of help behind closed doors. Not that she needs it, but A, like you said, to make good TV, but B, because, whoa, we could have really ended you. So I think she's in a great spot.
Yeah, and it's like everyone who's ever won a challenge championship, almost everyone, has had a little help from production at certain points. So I think production,
except for Ashley. Okay, yeah. Anyways.
So I think that there's just a storyline for her to win. There's a path. I think everything is lining up Olivia's way, and she's just going to be a big character. But it will be interesting to see, like you talked about, like Twitter embraced her. She's hitting that point too, where she's so popular with the casuals. She's trying to be friends with everyone. The downfall could come pretty soon. The avalanche could hit. I don't want it to happen. I'm on the Olivia train, but I'm ready for it to happen.
Can I say something negative?
Go for it.
I'm never negative, of course. I will say she is going to every single Challenge Mania event on Earth. Yes, panders to fans, smart. If I were there, I'd love it. But also, I'm with you. She's going to get burnt out, I feel. Either that or she's just all in. I don't know. But like Mark Long's there for every single one because he's the OG. Like, we met him and he told us, like, I love this. I don't have kids of my own. I have my nieces who I love to see, but I love to go see the fans because I'm out of the realm. I sometimes get to do all stars, but like, this is fun for me. Olivia's still very much in it to be going to every single one. I don't know how to feel about it.
She's a grinder. She's committed. This is her life now. She's all the way in, and she's gonna take this like bus as long as she can.
Yeah,
And
don't blame her.
she's gonna hopefully hop onto something bigger. I think that's her goal, but she sees what the gravy train is right now. She's taking it.
Smart.
Let's talk about the men now, though. Let's switch.
Before we do,
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay. Before we do, okay.
can we just? I don't want to talk about the mercenaries. They're Laurel, Kara, Casey, Tori, Kaz, random, but like we should have had a John A, Ashley, whatever. Can I just get your opinion of a few females you'd have liked to have seen on the show that fit the category? And I can start because I do have some in my mind.
Go for it.
Okay, Alicia from Vendettas. Rumor is she was contacted and said yes and was not used. Are you kidding me? She's MTV. She provided on Are You the One? She provided on X on the Beach. She provided on very few episodes of Vendettas. She's a new mother. That's a built-in storyline. What? Also, would have loved to have seen Kaylee. I know that she probably said no or was not contacted. Doesn't matter to me. Needed. She would start drama with these girls like you would not believe. Also, there's one more, and it might have lapsed my mind, so I'll let you take the floor, but I'll think on it.
My favorite thing is you're listing off all those shows Alicia did, and they were all like in a 9 month span. MTV was so invested in her. I thought she was gonna be the star of the I thought she was gonna be one of like the mega stars of the show. Like Cam got cast in part because of her beef with Alicia. There was a rumor that Tyranny was supposed to be on Vendettas as her vendetta, and Alicia was like, I'm not going to do this show with Tyranny because she punched me in the face before. And so then Cam was on. Cam might have been on regardless, but they put her on especially for that reason. And now Cam is, obviously like a top 10 challenger all time on the female side, an actual legend of the game. That's crazy to think about. That's Alicia had that much power. She's supposed to be on Dirty 30. Like I'm all in for Alicia because especially like I like in my prime MTV watching her X on the Beach season, loved it. Would have loved to see her again.
I have two more controversial, and then I'll cede my time. People are not going to like this, but it makes sense. Natalie Negrotti, perfect candidate for this season. She had such a high rise and then just such a quick fall. Okay, this could have been a redemption season for her. I think she said she declined it. Last but not least, Brittany Thornton. Bear with me. She was on every single season of Dirty 30. Like, not everyone has that under their belts. I recently rewatched them. She had good drama. She was involved. And I really think if you put her and Natalie with Melissa, they've kind of hung out recently. Some weird dynamics of, will she be with Big T? Will she be with these girls who she's hung out with? It kind of throws back aside from just the past two seasons. But alas, here we are.
I think those last two would be like actually perfect castings for this season, especially together. I think apologies to Mariah. You toss out Mariah, you toss out Colleen.
You toss out Juju and Colleen.
Oh yeah,
it's like they never left.
And then, hell yeah,
Alicia for Jessica.
Throwing Kaylee for Jessica, so that you have the Kaylee Natalie beef going on too, from all those years ago. And I actually like, even if you just throw Natalie by herself on this cast, where she would get thrown into elimination by the Ride or Die girls, claim they're bullying her, that would be great. I would love all that.
Yeah.
I like all these castings, Luke. I think the female cast for this next season is pretty good, but I would have loved to seen those two. It is definitely like, you look at this female cast, it's set up for some people to succeed and some people to be first boots and some people to be somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. There's a clear intention behind this casting, and it's fair. There are people they obviously want to say, hey, this new generation, you're going to be on. And it's likely Olivia, Mariah, strangely enough, Nerese, Michelle, maybe Melissa, Big T. That'd be a weird little throwback, but yeah, I'm with you.
Oof. Are we on to the men now? All right, everyone. If you are still listening and or watching, we decided to break up the podcast into two separate parts. So please stay tuned in for our male cast breakdown coming on the channel soon. Have a great day. Stay tuned. Thank you very much for listening.